Fox News has a new sheriff in town. Just over a month into the job, CEO Suzanne Scott is apparently fed up with insults and outrageous claims spewed on the air. And according to Politico, she called all the show producers together to say, from now on, they are directly responsible for what is said on air. Laura Ingraham and Sean Hannity are top talent at Fox, bringing in huge audiences. And part of their shtick is saying outrageous things.
So since more illegal immigrants are rushing the border, more kids are being separated from their parents and temporarily housed in what are essentially summer camps.
Snark like that apparently got to new Fox CEO Suzanne Scott. Politico reports she called together all the talk show producers to say they will be held accountable for whatever is said on air, including crackpot claims like this from guest Ann Coulter.
And I would also say one other thing, these child actors weeping and crying on all the other networks 24/7 right now.
Scott reportedly found this exchange with former Trump campaign manager Corey Lewandowski particularly offensive.
A 10-year-old girl with Down syndrome who was taken from her mother and put in a cage. I read about.
But as one Fox producer told Politico, management specifically hired these people because they say crazy things. At any rate, expect to hear more corrections and apologies following incidents like this when a former Trump campaign official used a racially charged phrase.
Yeah, that's screaming liberal Michael Hayden.
You're out of your cotton-picking mind.
Cotton-picking mind?
After a commercial break, Ed Henry said Fox does not condone that type of language.
Obviously offensive. These debates get fiery. That's unfortunate.
Unfortunate, but is it stoppable? I don't know how any producer, and as one of the young producers said, many of them are young, they're like in their 30s, you're going to tell Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham, Neil Cavuto, anybody what parameters, and what if they say it? Then you're going to get in their ear and say, you have to take that back, you have to apologize. How's it going to work? It's just not manageable. I don't see how it can possibly be done.
There's a three-syllable phrase I want to use. I can't use it on air. The acronym would be ABW. No, actually, just AB. Just AB. Two words, 3 syllables. Viewers can figure it out. It's totally untenable. Yeah. And essentially, the new head of Fox is asking producers, lower-level people, to be in charge of a rebrand and not giving them backup, right? Saying she'll blame them if these empowered hosts and guests totally change the way they've been doing business for years. It's nonsensical. It's almost offensive. It's so nonsensical. By the way, I think this story was broken by Jason Schwartz, formerly of Boston Magazine, who's now at Politico.
Yeah, it's a good story.
Yeah, good luck with this. I mean, you're talking with every one of these hosts, Laura Ingraham, Ann Coulter, Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson. They want them to be offensive enough to get ratings, but not so offensive that that the advertisers start to pull out. And so these poor producers, in every case now, are going to be, okay, did this cross the line into advertisers are going to start pulling out? It's crazy. It's completely unworkable. Fox is the network that hired these reprobates, and there's no way you can expect a bunch of producers.
But I mean,
to
some things have to be pushed back. I don't know who that host was when Ann Coulter said that the babies in the borders were actors. I mean, he should have said, "Oh, come on, Ann." I mean, that would have been an instinctual thing to say, and
I don't think it's an instinctual thing to say on Fox.
Yeah, I guess. Mm-hmm.
So I would say that it's not going to work. However, I want to look at the motivation from Suzanne. So what she must be hearing via the advertisers is, do you want some support on your shows or not? And we are not going to put up with Mr. So-and-so saying womp womp to a story about a child who has mental challenges. We're not going to put up with your calling the black commentator, cotton picking. We're not going to do it. So now you decide where that comes down. And so her next line of defense is with those producers who are going to have to remind. And what she's doing is providing them cover. And as long as you're on paper saying, I told so-and-so at 8:12 to correct, because you're never going to catch them on the front end. It's going to be a lot of correction on the back end. That's what's happening. Then we'll see. And at some point, either the host will decide, I'm going to have to temper my own behavior here, or I will not. I will have advertisers or I won't have a job. This is how this is going. So this is her way of putting pressure on them, beginning in this way. It's not fair to the producers, I will agree, but she's providing them cover, and she's made it public and clear, this is what I am expecting.
I have to say I found it interesting that in the Politico story mentioned that when she read this. That she literally read this.
Yeah, she read
went
it.
into a meeting with the producers.
And some of them were on the phone.
Or on the phone, and she read from a script. So I have to wonder how much of this actually comes from her heart, meaning this is it, by God, I'm laying down the law. And how much of this was, wink, wink, I have to read this to you because my bosses are telling me if I don't read this, advertisers will be squishy. When somebody goes into a situation like that and reads from a script, I have to wonder what the
You know what I
She
thought?
said that
I
she
didn't.
wanted-
I didn't take it like that.
Yeah.
I thought it was the lawyers said.
Yeah.
This
Or
is where
the
let me
lawyers.
make sure that you don't
Yes.
go outside of your boundaries and somebody doesn't come.
Right.
They're the king and queens of freedom of speech. How dare you tell me? So I bet you that wording was very,
I agree.
Could have
very,
been.
very careful so that they can't come back to her and
And
say
can't be
you
confused.
tried to
Yeah.
deny
It
me
says
something.
to me, though,
you
this
know.
was a CYA move on her part, and she just made sure the words are out there so the lawyers or the advocate, whoever, has been covered. But it's kind of like saying to the producers, you know, this isn't really coming from me.
The next few
Doesn't
years,
matter. They got to do it.
Well, we'll see.
You know.
the next few years are going to be very interesting because reportedly, excuse me, the Murdoch boys don't like what they see on the Fox News channel at all, but they love the money that comes in. So
I want to note that all the management now on Fox are women.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd never heard of this woman.
Yes.
It
Well,
she
she just got named,
Yeah.
and so if you go down the next in line, and the next, and the next, they're all women. So we'll see
I
what
should
happens.
mention,
She
I know
was
we got
Roger Ailes.
I know we got to run, but I believe that it was after this meeting that Sean Hannity came out and blamed the Annapolis shooting on Maxine Waters.
Maxine Waters,
So
right.
you can tell it's working great.
who has had
Yeah.
to go into hiding,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah.